Riding a surfboard strapless may seem easy or trivial to some people, but coming from a strapped board, being able to maintain control at speed and in unstable conditions can be hard to do consistently. The last thing any of us wants is to be dropping down the face of a wave and realise our board is no longer under our feet. You may feel this section is obvious, simply wanting to jump on to the fun stuff. But a better understanding of how we use our kite and body to keep our feet firmly glued to the board will help any kite surfer as they progress from simply getting up and riding, through carving turns, and finally riding waves. We do recommend that your first runs are on flatter water with little or no waves. Get your stance right, and then you'll find getting over waves far easier. The progressions. Seeing as we are mainly riding strapless, we'll first take a brief look at foot positions. As you see, this is essential knowledge and something we'll refer back to repeatedly throughout this whole series of videos. Next, we'll cover you getting up on the board. Reasonably straightforward for the water start, and we just want to get your feet and body in the right place to start off your first runs. Then we'll take it up a level with the step-on beach start. Now you're up, it's all about stance. Riding with control and handling speed, whether you're underpowered or overpowered. Our stance on a surfboard is different to a twin tip, and adjusting your natural kiting habits is essential. And though just riding back and forth may not seem that exciting, these skills will become vital as you progress and handle more power. Finally, we get you started in actual waves, and the first thing to master, getting out through them. Rather essential if you want to ride them back in. We'll look at getting out over waves of different sizes, whether they're unbroken waves or broken walls of whitewater. Strapped or strapless. A strapped surfboard will allow you to ride closer to your twin tip stance, but it can restrict the way in which you can ride waves, allowing you to rely on the straps and not fully understand the power a wave can add to your turns. Whether you ultimately want to ride strapped or strapless, you will benefit from learning the basics strapless, as this will force you to really consider your weight distribution while simply riding along, but also whilst carving the board. Check out the strapped or strapless video, available here for free in the progression player, for a better understanding of the difference between these two board setups. Sailing with less power. On your twin tip, you may well look to hold onto the most power possible, and often it's necessary to power the low volume of a twin tip board. But on a surfboard, all the extra volume and the power a wave can add to your turns means you'll need to get used to riding with a smaller kite. You'll soon see that you don't need the same power to get up and riding, and once on a wave, good technique will have you dumping as much power as possible so you can surf the wave unhindered. Without foot straps, our feet can move around and be placed in many different spots on the board. This versatile nature of riding strapless means we can always have our feet in just the right place to make the most of the actions we are taking. So let's look at some of the key ways in which you should place your feet to help with our riding, but also so we can reference them easier later throughout these videos. Front foot position. Getting your front foot into the correct position is key. Front foot, front to back. When riding waves strapless, you may need a slightly wider stance to ensure you can keep your weight forward over the wider midsection of the board. If your board has foot strap inserts, then you can start with your foot positioned around where the front foot strap would be placed. Every board is different, so use this as a guide, and then as you get more experienced, you can play around with shifting your weight a little further forwards or backwards and see the effect. A single centimetre either way will make a noticeable difference. Foot position, side to side. With no foot strap and a board that is far wider than the length of your foot, there are several ways you can place and angle your foot. Where this is depends on what you're doing. It may be closer to the rail and more angled, giving us far better ability to edge, but harder to move from rail to rail. Or dead center and square, allowing good edge-to-edge control without the extreme edging ability. We'll cover the best options for this type of foot placement in the various technique and trick videos. Overall, once you've found the position lengthways that works for your body and board, you'll not move around a great deal in this direction. Whereas you'll want to be tweaking your side-to-side foot position more often during a session. Back foot position. Due to the nature of riding a surfboard, with your weight over your front foot, it's relatively easy to shift your back foot around quickly to change the control and maneuverability of your board. You're mainly moving your back foot forwards and backwards. You may have it as far forwards as this, great in lighter winds for maximum efficiency when riding upwind, or as far back as possible, jammed up against the back of the tail pad, giving you maximum control of the board's maneuverability and power. Generally, somewhere in between will be the most comfortable spot for getting going and cruising upwind, normally at the front of the tail pad. A very important point to take in: when we say get your foot right to the back of the tail pad, we mean right back. Wiggle it back and jam it up against the foam at the back of the pad. This is not at the back of the pad, this is. The difference of a centimetre at this point of the board will make a big difference. This can make proper, powered carving turns far, far easier to learn.